Let's see, 13. Let's see what we got here.
Wait a second. You said something about life and all that 42. Were you making a Hitchhiker's reference?
Obviously.
A little
What
slow
else would it be?
tonight.
Today, you're slow today.
Shut up.
Okay, well that one doesn't really apply yet. I can't really ask that one right now. I roll another one, Jinku.
Third time's a charm?
Third time's the charm.
Maybe. Oh, there it went.
71. Let's see here. Ah, okay, this will be an interesting one. Let's see. Question is, what was that perfect comeback that you thought of hours too late?
Oh, that's easy for Jinku. Basically every conversation of her life.
All right.
It's easy. Friends don't let friends cast friends.
Indeed. All right.
I honestly don't know. You're asking a lot of me to be witty on the spot.
It is
Don't
a tricky
worry,
question.
You'll come up with it later.
Yep,
Exactly.
I'll come up with it like when I'm laying in bed after session, and I'll be like, "Damn it!"
Which is just perfect for this particular question.
Exactly. All right. Mixed do you have any comebacks you thought of hours later to stuff that's happened?
Not for Twitter. He says shit right on demand.
Instant gratification sass.
For Mix, it's anytime he keeps his mouth shut when it feels like saying something. You regret it later.
All right. Sounds good. Let me just close that here. All right. So, who wants to give us a little rundown of what we got up to last time?
You're asking a lot.
Basically, Boo and Jinku wanted the Nuggers, and Zyara was like, "You fools!" And then we found out that the Nuggers are probably poisoned or something to that extent because people turn into stone if they eat too many of them.
But they're delicious.
And only for a little bit, too.
Well, yes and no. At least from talking to that one dwarf, it sounds like if you're continually consuming them, it doesn't wear off.
And if you're like smaller, because Jinku didn't have any side effects.
Shh. Don't worry about it.
Well, that was part of it.
There was another part, but it's been I can't remember now.
I think the other part was with Torta, right? Torta talked to the one dude and got a quest.
Let's see.
I don't know, man.
Well,
That was a really long time ago.
Yeah, there was some kind of job presented to us, but I don't remember what it was.
there was a job that Mert had brought to you guys There was an issue with some of the officials in the city had been getting their kind of minds affected by a mind flayer that works with the Xanathar Guild, and that was causing some problems. And so he sent you guys to try to figure out what was up with that and try to put a stop to it. And so you all took a trip down to the dock ward part of town, and you swung by a few places, stopped by the Zoblob shop, purple shop, talked to the guy in there, tried to get some information.
Right. And then he threatened to basically buy my body on the black market after I died.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to be his slave.
Yeah. And you kind of discern that there was some sort of code for information that you didn't know. But you went to a kind of nearby confectioner's shop that was also run by some people who were with the guild, and managed to kind of get somewhat of an in, because you mentioned that you knew Ott. And they had told you to come back in the evening and they would see what they could do in
That's
terms
right.
of putting you in contact with him. And they gave you the pass phrase to use.
What was that again?
The pass phrase was when they ask you. Let me pull it up here. Where was that? There it is. When they ask you 8 small eyes, how would you like those arranged? And you are supposed to answer around an ocular cake.
That's right. Okay.
And that's pretty much where we left off. You guys had just stepped out of that confectioner's shop down in the dock ward. It's currently maybe mid-afternoon or so right now.
Do we have everybody with us or we don't, right? Torda is not with us. And neither is Mix, correct?
We do.
I don't know what we've had Mix doing.
I mean, if anything, I don't think. No, I think Torter was with you guys.
Yeah, I think we were all
Okay.
together.
Yeah, he wasn't with you at the beginning part when you guys originally went to Fantasy McDonald's. But he did after you got back and got the quest that Mert had given to him, because Mert stopped by the bar.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you guys were all together.
Yeah, I think Torta was with us when we went to the purple shop.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was.
Yeah, about the little stuffed beholder heads.
Ah, that's right. Yes, the little stuff beholder heads. That's right. He was there. Cool. So yeah, so you got probably at least a few hours to kill down here before you are kind of expected to return.
Boo's kind of he's just trying to be in the background. Because he doesn't want to get in trouble again. Kind of lucked out one time.
Okay. Let's see here. In terms of things that are on your minds right now, I mean, Xanathar thing is one. There's kind of the questions about what was going on at that restaurant with the mystery chicken that seemed to be causing some side effects with people. Those are kind of the two main things right now that you're aware of offhand.
Do we want to keep looking and like find more people that are getting hurt, or what do you guys? What do you guys think you want to do?
Oh, there was also, Boo, you recall that you had a weird dream um, the night after you guys got back from the trial and you were sleeping in your place again. You had this kind of strange dream where there was some large, shadowy, kind of ancient seeming presence kind of looming over you. Kind of like, and you couldn't really describe it very well. It was almost kind of incomprehensible. But you woke up kind of in the middle of the night from that. You had that kind of strange dream in your room as well.
Well, that's lovely, too.
Right?
I'm gonna ignore that part so that because I don't want to deal with that. That's not my
Boo has
style.
selectively wiped that from his memory.
Yeah, not my jam. I'm gonna puff away on this pipe that I've got in my inventory I found here and wait to see what you folks want to do.
Puff away on this pipe and some herbs that he stole from Zyara's secret stash, and
Hide it better.
Hide it better.
he's so small. How are you supposed to hide anything from him?
Get creative.
Let's see. So, as you guys are kind of just ambling around down here in the dock ward, like this whole part of town that you're in is kind of eh. I mean, it's the dock ward. You know, things are usually kind of cruddy down around the docks in medievally era fantasy towns. That's the way it goes. Let me see what we've got around here. Let's see, because we were just outside. There's the Zoblob shop.
Can I just say it seemed like we're in top form tonight?
Still shaking off the whatever the tryptophan from Thanksgiving. Let's see. Where was that? There it is. Okay. So yeah, there's the the Zoop shop. You guys went to the confectioner's down the street. The Skewered Dragon. It's kind of a cruddy bar you guys have been to before. Let's see some other things. Let's see what's around the area.
Any place to get tarts? Tota's been bugging me all day for more tarts.
We
Well, I
got
mean, you guys did just get some tarts from the confectioner shop. They had some that you purchased.
Yeah, I bought a whole bunch of them and gave some to Torta, right?
Surely they aren't gone already.
I'm sorry.
Have you met this group?
Torta?
gave me the day before.
The what?
She gave me the dozen the day before, not from this place.
Yeah, there were just
Those
there were
are-
a couple that you got from this place. They were like kind of eye-shaped ones. They had kind of an like they were kind of eye-shaped, and the filling was all kind of in the middle, making like the iris.
Yeah, I remember so little of the last session apparently.
I guess so.
I think that pretty much anytime we're anywhere that might have tarts, we buy tarts.
Fair. Well, I mean, if you want to, I mean, you're not too far off the main drag of Waterdeep. Like Way of the Dragon is just to the east of you, as is the High Road as well, which are pretty populated, larger streets. If you wanted to poke around there and do things like some shopping. Let's see. Lots of taverns around this area. Lots of taverns.
Well, You guys want to go shopping or drinking? Because it looks like that's all there is to do on the dock ward.
I mean,
We
the other
gotta
thing,
kill some crime, guys.
I mean, the other things that are in the dock ward would be the ship full of drow.
Yeah, pass.
There's still questions about what's going on with that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hard no.
Very hard no on that one.
Okay. Well, we'll go ahead
What-
and. Oh, go ahead, quick.
What's the nearest tavern like?
Nearest tavern. Okay.
Let's go have a drink, guys.
Well, I mean, the nearest tavern to where you guys are right now, it'd be the Skewered Dragon, which you'd been by before a long time ago. It's kind of in an alley, a little bit south of the Zoblob shop. And this tavern is one that it looks very ramshackle because the windows are all busted and there is a giant ship's anchor that's smashed partway through the roof of it. And I mean, last time you were there, like it was, decent enough inside as a tavern could be, I guess, functional. A lot of day drinkers around this area. That would probably be the one closest to you right now.
Let's go. Sounds like my type of place. Day drinking.
All right. So you head over, back past the Zoblob shop. There's still weird purple mist kind of wafting out the front door of it into the street. And turn the corner into the alley where the Skewered Dragon lies. And let's see. You pull open the front door, which also seems to be a little bit wonky. You kind of open it slightly, and it gets caught for a second. You have to kind of yank a little bit to get the rest of the way open. It seems it's not very straight on the door hinges right now. But you step inside, and it takes a moment for your eyes to adjust. It's kind of dim and dingy in here, and you see a couple of people that are in here this afternoon, maybe about 4 or 5, sitting around. There's a couple of them kind of sitting together over on the one of the benches nearby, and there's a couple also at the bar. All of them seem to be kind of the more rough and tumble sort, kind of on the older side too. There is a, let's see, who is the who runs this place? Let me find this here. They're kind of a large, burly human who seems to be manning the bar. He seems to be kind of dusting off some mugs at the moment. He seems to mostly just be wearing some pants and kind of a large apron. No shirt though. He kind of grunts as you kind of grunts and looks up at your group as you come in. You hear him kind of mutter under his breath, "Bit early for the dinner rush."
What do you guys want to drink? It's on me.
Thanks for that follow, Smiler.
We'll have whatever you're having, friend.
All right, Jiku. I'll walk up to the barkeep and I'll say, "Barkeep, I'd like some milk, please."
So, and you kind of walk up and say this, and it almost kind of catches him off guard a little bit. You see him kind of pause for a moment in, kind of wiping off this mug. As you gotten closer to him behind the bar here, You can see it's not so much that he's dusting the mug, it's more if he's wiping off a layer of maybe grease or just kind of general dust goo that's congealed on it over the years. It's kind of gross. But he kind of looks down at you, almost kind of glaring at you out of the corner of his eye. He's like, "You come to a bar in the dock ward for milk?"
In a dirty glass. That's fine.
He kind of again pauses for a moment and he sets this mug that he was uh, quote unquote cleaning. It may have been more of that he was pushing the stuff around on it. The cloth itself didn't look too much better. He sets it down, kind of puts both of his hands down on the bar, kind of across from you, and he's kind of staring into your face, almost a bit, kind of a bit intensely. And then after a moment, he suddenly stands back up and kind of lets out this belly laugh and says, "Ha! I like your gumption, friend. I'm afraid I don't have any milk here at my tavern, but I mean, I'm sure I can scoop off some mold off of something and make something white."
Sure. That's fine.
Again, he kind of lets out this belly laugh. Says, "Suit yourself. Who am I to judge?" So you see him kind of amble back, uh, kind of back into kind of a back area behind the bar. And as he's turning away from you, like you can see he's just wearing these pants and this apron. You can kind of see the top half of his ass sticking out of these pants. He kind of sticks one of his hands down the back of it and scratches his butt as he's walking into the back room. Sanitary standards, good standards around here. And you see him kind of puttering around in there for a bit. You hear some things pouring. You hear some kind of uncomfortable scraping or squelching noises. And eventually he comes back out and he kind of plops this glass mug down in front of you. It might have been a clear mug at one point. Now it's kind of yellowed almost. But you see in the mug, kind of a typical ale-colored liquid, and then poorly mixed into it seem to be a number of white flecks of God knows what. But there's enough of them that if you look at it in the light just right, it kind of looks white.
That's pretty sick, man. I'll take it. And I'll use prestidigitation to heat it up till it's hot, and then I'll cool it back down, and I'll take a drink of it, and I'll maintain eye contact with this barkeep while I take a drink of it, and I'll put it back down.
So, so you chug this, set it back down on the bar, maintaining eye contact with this barkeep, and yeah, go ahead and roll a Constitution saving throw as you're, keeping this kind of dominant eye contact with them, or at least attempting to. We'll see how that goes.
I should get, if it's a con save for drinking this, can I have advantage for heating it up and then cooling it back down?
Sure, we'll give you that.
Good, because my con save is terrible.
All right.
Yeah, I'll take it.
All right. So you kind of continue staring at this guy, and you do kind of feel right at the top end of your stomach, you feel some protestation going on, but you've managed to keep that under check. Nothing that anything external can be seen of your internal discomfort, and you manage to just kind of continue staring, and eventually he kind of smiles at you and says, "Well, color me impressed. Tell you what, you can have that on the house. I won't charge you for that one.
Oh, I hope not.
So,
I really hope not.
what brings you to the Skewer Dragon?
Well,
Can't
we
say
just
I've.
needed to kill a couple hours, so I wanted to have a drink, and one thing led to another, and here we are. I'm drinking this thing here.
Killing a couple hours, huh, in the city for work, coming off the ships. What are you doing abouts in the dock ward? I mean, I can't really say you look like the sailory type.
I'm a proprietor of an inn here, and I was checking on a delivery that came in recently.
Well, I hope we're not any sort of competition.
Ha! You and I are on a very different ship, my friend. A very different ship.
Uh, you see him kind of smile a little bit, but you can also kind of see in his eyes you can see a little bit of sadness in his eyes at that. His bar is shit, and he knows it's shit, but he's proud of his shit.
Yes. That being said, you guys want something to drink? Jinku, you said you wanted one of these, right?
Yeah.
Now I'll have one of these for my friend. Well, I don't know what you call this.
Well, frankly, I don't really know what to call it either. And he kind of looks at you. He kind of looks at you, Jinku, for a moment, and he's like, "You serious?"
Yeah. You know, out of character, you know how everybody's in their life has had that friend that, like, you can get them to eat anything? That's Jinku.
All right. He says, "Well, suit yourself." And he almost seems to be getting a little entertainment out of this, at watching you consume these unholy things. So he again goes back in the back, and then eventually comes out again with another mug, similarly kind of discolored with age, and again with kind of strange floaty bits in it. Jinka, you kind of take a look at it, and some of it kind of looks like it might be some sort of mold scraped off of something. You also might maybe see a few flecks of maybe paint that got caught in the scraping process. It's pretty gross.
Yeah, I've had worse.
All
Shrug his
right,
shoulders and just pound it.
all right. Roll me Constitution on that. All right. you guys, you guys can hold your shit liquor.
Ugh, so gross.
So Jacob, you also managed to down this and put your mug back down on the table, and
And might I add, I drank it straight. I didn't do any temperature changing to it.
that is true.
Challenge!
Weird flex, but okay. But yes, you managed to stifle any internal discomfort and get through it well enough. I mean, who knows how tomorrow's going to be on the other side, but for now at least, you're alive.
That seems like a very tenuous.
What'd she say?
She said that sounded very tenuous. And after you chug this, Jinku, the barkeep kind of looks at the other couple of you that are around in here. He's like, more rounds for the rest of you? Are you all this mad?"
No, thank you. I would prefer not to destroy myself.
Um, as you As you say this, there's like a kind of an older gentleman at the bar who, has been kind of watching you guys out of the corner of his eye. He seems like he's pretty deep into whatever he's been drinking. But, he was also kind of watching the proceedings here. And, you say this, Zara, and he's like, "Good, that'd be a shame. You're a pretty one." And then he kind of falls back over and kind of zonks out on the bar.
Zyra just kind of raises an eyebrow, but doesn't really respond otherwise.
So as you guys are sitting here at the bar, for a little bit, kind of maybe recovering a little bit from drinking this. Those of you that had that, you're kind of maybe talking amongst yourselves for a little while, at least, and after about maybe half an hour or so, you hear the door behind you fling open, and you hear like kind of loud, boisterous laughter and a few people talking with each other. And you turn around and are surprised to see Volo walk in to the bar, along with his friend Floon, who you guys had rescued a long, long time ago. But Floon and Volo walk in, kind of conversing amongst themselves. They already seem to maybe have had a little something to drink somewhere else before. But they walk in, and Volo, turns, sees you all kind of sitting in here, and goes, "Well, I'll be damned! My God! I can't say I expected to see the likes of you all at the Steward Dragon. Surely Troll School's keeping you busy, I hope. What brings you down to this part of town?"
Well, come on, let's get a drink and I'll tell you all about it, friend Volo, and I'll get drinks for everybody, including Volo.
Okay. And the barkeep goes and gets these drinks put together for you all. Drinks here are pretty cheap, pretty much like a copper a piece, it seems. The regular drinks that aren't with weird stuff mixed in are all right. I mean, they're typical kind of cheap end ale. But he brings them out to you and to Volo, and Floon, who is with him here. Floon is kind of a early 30s looking human. He has kind of wavy red blonde hair. But he is like he recognizes, those of you that had helped him out so long ago, so like Boo and Zayara and Mix and Jinku. And he's kind of starts striking up a conversation with you, Zayara, and he's like, "Oh, I can't thank you enough again for rescuing me all those months ago. I you can see I've healed from the beatings that Half-Orc gave me when you guys rescued me down in the sewers. Wouldn't be alive today if it weren't for you all. I don't know how I got mixed up in all that mess." "Yes, me too." And he kind of like puts his hand on like either side of his face and says, "Wouldn't want to ruin this." They got a few blows in there, but I'm happy it didn't turn out too crooked in the end.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to hurt that anymore, would we, my friend? Oh boy.
And like Bolo's sitting next to you here, Boo, and he's like, "So, how's Troll School working out for you all? I mean, you guys have been in there a few months now since you got the deed from me. I've heard word that it's had some success and some intrigue up in that area. I heard you were all in court or something? What did... Oh, you weren't poisoning the guests or something, I hope.
Yeah, no poisoning the guests. Not this time yet.
Yet. Ah, yes, the customers can sometimes get to be a bit much.
Yeah, they can. They
That does...
can indeed.
I mean, I should know. I'm usually one of them, and I'm usually the one of them that gets to be a bit much.
You should stop by sometime. Here's a coupon.
Do
Oh,
you have
well,
coupons?
coupon's ready to go.
Oh, I'm sure I've got
what is-
coupons ready to go. Oh yeah.
What do our coupons say exactly?
It's buy one, get one free on ladies' night.
All right.
We've got ladies'
Wow,
night
we already
too,
have
by
a
the way.
ladies'
We've
night?
got nightly drink specials, guys. I've been working on this behind the scenes, and nobody's been showing any appreciation to me for any of this. Do you not know who's running all of this? I mean,
Well, it's clearly not me.
Well,
very clearly not you.
obviously it is the ghost running everything.
Yeah,
Come
we don't do
on.
shit. We're never there.
And like Volo's kind of looking over these kind of roughly made coupons that you have here. He's like, "Oh, ladies' night. Well, count me
Please
in."
tell me that the coupons made by Boo were done in crayon.
I don't know, Boo. What were they made with?
Oh yeah, they were
Please
made with
describe
child
them.
labor, of course. They're done in crayon.
All of the eyes are dotted with hearts because Nat was doing them.
Yep.
I love it. I love it. That's great.
Well, that's perfect for a ladies' night coupon.
There you go. There you go. Very
Ladies
enticing.
love hearts.
Well, I'm glad to hear that Troll Skull is doing well. I mean, I'm still working on my next book, of course, trying to do whatever research I can. Maybe I'll stop by. I've heard that Liff is still around, and he might be of interest in my next book. I'm trying to write up a little something on the spirits and uh, specters of Waterdeep in the land, so perhaps that might be something worth putting in.
Yeah, we'd be more than happy to license some of Liv's life and work to you. No problem. We'll discuss that when you come by.
Good, good. Sounds like a plan. Well, I've got a busy night of getting absolutely hammered here at the Skewer Dragon with my good friend Floon. Slaps his friend Floon on the back here. Says, I'm so glad to see you all again. I'm glad things are going well, it seems. Hope you aren't getting into too much trouble.
No, we better get going as well, Volo. You and Floon have a good night of getting absolutely hammered.
We always do, friend. We always do.
Barkeep, give him a couple of what you gave me, and I'll give him a couple more coppers and a silver piece.
Okay. The barkeep's eyes kind of light up. And he
Zyara is just like shaking her head, like, don't you dare.
the barkeep's eyes kind of light up as you slide this across the counter here. And he kind of winks in your direction. He says, "Oh, don't worry. We treat Volo good around here. We'll make sure he has an interesting night. He's one of our regulars, of course." And Volo, kind of oblivious of all this, is like, "Ah, you have a special tonight. A rare sight indeed. Well, I will be most excited to try it." Do you guys stick around for this, or do you?
No, I'm good.
All right.
I've learned not to stay at the scene of a crime.
Fair. So you all make your way out of the skewer dragon here, and you continue to hear, the windows are broken on the front, so sound carries, and you continue to hear kind of cajoling and whatnot from Volo and Floon and some of the other regulars there. It seems Volo knows some of them, and they come here quite a bit together. But you head back out into the street. It's now kind of getting into the evening now, and are you guys gonna head back over the confectioner shop way, or
Yes.
okay? All right, so you head back down the street over to the confectioner shop, and the front part that you had been in before seems to be on the closing side of things. Like the lights inside are dim, and there seems to be a sign about it being closed in the front door of the place that you had been in before.
Does it have a back door?
It sure does. You guys kind of poke around the side. There's a little kind of narrow alleyway that goes between this shop and the building next door, which seems to be kind of a rough tenement house of sorts. But you go around, and there's a door on kind of the side of it facing the alley. You kind of go behind some crates and things that are stacked on the alley, and there's kind of a somewhat rough wooden door that you find there. It has like one of those little sliding slits in it, kind of part way up.
Okay. I'll go knock on it.
Okay. All right. So Boo, you walk up and knock on the door. And after a brief moment, you hear the little iron slit in the door kind of slid kind of quickly and roughly to the side. And you hear a kind of a low voice inside. And you recognize it from earlier. If, as far as you recall, it sounds like the voice of the half ogre that was running the confectioner shop place. But you hear him speak through the door. 8 small eyes. How would you like those arranged?
We had to say what? Inocular order, right, guys?
It was like around an ocular cake.
Around an ocular cake. Around an ocular cake. That's it.
And you see the little slit on the door slide back closed, and you hear a few things being fiddled with on the back side of the door. And the door swings open, and you see the kind of lower half of that half ogre standing there. And he kind of leans down a little bit and sees you all down here in the street, and he says, "Ah, you came. That was a good choice." And he kind of steps back from the door a little bit and kind of extends his hand, uh, pointing down, or kind of leading down the hallway in here.
All right, guys. Let's do this.
All right, do you all head in there? All right. So you all head into the back area of this confectioner's shop, and it seems like this piece of the building that you're in seems to be uh, separate from whatever kitchens or shop or whatever is in the front part with the confectioner's part. It's like the hallway kind of goes back a bit, and then kind of very sharply turns to the right, and there are some stairs that lead down into, looks like, a cellar beneath the place. And so you're all kind of going along there. The half ogre is kind of coming up behind you all, kind of continually moving you all forward, since he's kind of a wall of a person, filling up most of the hallway behind you all. But you head downstairs, and you eventually find yourself in the cellar of this place. And down here, it's pretty nice. It's still a cellar, so it's still got that kind of cellar dankness to it. But there is like a decently sized table laid out, kind of in the middle of the room. Uh, enough. Just kind of two long benches on either side, enough to seat maybe like 10 or 12 people, so it's pretty decently long. And you see like a few other, you see some decor on the walls. A lot of the kind of tapestries or little banners and things that you see all have that, somewhat familiar to you now, symbol of kind of a yellow circle with 8 spokes coming off of it all the way around. Kind of looks like a sun of sorts. But you see those kind of posted up around. And you see seated at the head of the table a familiar face. You see a kind of stout dwarf sitting here, got kind of a rough, like a roughly trimmed white beard, and his ever familiar little knit beholder hat that he wears on his head. Boo, are you leading up the group as you guys are coming in this place?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So as you're all walking in here, you see Ott sitting here at the table with his hat, and he sees you, Boo, first as you kind of come in out of the shadows of the staircase, and he says, "Ah, my rescuers! Good to see you all again. Good to see you. So, it seems you've taken an interest in the Xanathar Guild after all. I appreciate you thinking of me. That was very nice. What can I do for you?"
What were we coming here for? Oh, there was a good reason.
I don't know, man. I've just been going with it. I trusted one of you new.
Everybody's following
I
everybody
thought there was
else.
gonna be cake. I heard something about
Right?
cake.
So okay, so we heard rumors about cake. We've been seeing, look, we've been seeing you guys around a lot, and like your little. I'll be honest, we've been seeing your little. What are those gazers running around all over the place in places where we're doing business. So we do business in a lot of the same places, and we thought, hey, why not merge businesses? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, it is fair to say that we've had some people crossing paths with you, but more so we have been interested in keeping an eye on the Zentrum, and it seems we all happen to bump heads in the same places a lot. But, I mean, I do know you guys had all gotten into a bit of a row recently with the city, and I must say you did the Xanathars also a bit of a big favor taking out Aristo Floxton, the bastard. So, I mean, I must say, on top of rescuing my life some time ago, that certainly garnered our interest. But, surely you didn't just come here to say hello. Is it something that you need from us for protection for your business, or are you wanting to get into something maybe a little more serious? We do deal in a lot of on the underbelly of society things here in the Xanathar Guild. And if you have interest in these kind of dealings, I can grease the wheels for you, as it were. I have I have some say. I'm well known.
Are you?
Well, I'm the most competent smuggler of the guild that there has been in quite some time. Envy of all of Skullport.
That's awesome to hear. I like it. We did have a bigger reason to be here. I know that we did. We've got what reason did they have for us, guys? We've got a bunch of stuff. These new papers that we found out about. Um,
Did it have to do with the quest about like the mind flare or
yeah,
whatever?
that's what it was. He reminded us at the beginning of the session.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's the one.
Clearly, we all
Excellent.
pay attention so greatly.
Yes.
Yes, that was the one. Quest from Mert.
I'll tell him about the quest from Mert.
Okay. So you tell him everything about this quest that Mert gave you?
No, probably not.
He was hoping that that would suffice.
No,
That he wouldn't have to remember
you
things.
wouldn't call me on my bullshit, okay? That's, I'm going to be honest here. That's what I was doing there.
We're
All
struggling.
right,
real
let me
bad.
let me fill in your holes in the memory in a little bit before you go doing something stupid. So so Mert had come to the tavern on behalf of the Harpers, who he is your contact with the Harpers Guild. That there has been some problems within the city government of various officials coming under the influence of a particular mind flayer named Nihilor, who is affiliated with the Xanathar Guild. And specifically that they had been taken over by intellect devourers, which Jinku will remember are brain puppies.
Okay.
And so he had requested your help on behalf of the Harpers and the city of trying to find out what's going on with that and, if possible, put a stop to it. Because having, mind-eaten, controlled city government officials in the pockets of the Xanathar Guild aren't what they want. That's what led you to kind of come here in the first place, because you were trying to decide, you're trying to think of ways to get in contact with the Xanathar Guild, and you remembered Ott, and you remembered, some things that you'd seen down the dock ward, especially since you'd been in like a Xanathar Guild hideout a long time ago when you were rescuing Floon in the sewers, and you saw a mind flayer then, and brain puppies at that time. So that's kind of what led you down to this part of town in the first place, anyways, was that you kind of had that encounter with him a long, long time ago. So you kind of retraced your old steps, and that's what got you here.
So I probably would be telling him that I'm here to, I want to do work for him in general, to become his buddy. And maybe I need to grease the wheels of some of the city council business here. Maybe they're giving me problems on importing or something. I don't know. What do you guys think? What should we tell him? How much should we tell him about this? Not a lot, obviously, but we need to figure out what's up with this mind flayer dude.
I'd say just enough to get the information we want.
So I'll tell him that like one, we noticed we were doing business in a lot of the same places, so we thought we could probably be beneficial, to each other, and we wanted to make sure we were available to help
Mhm.
them in any way. But
Mhm.
also that because we're established in, we got our business. They probably know I was in court recently. I'll point to my tattoo. I'll be like, I done time recently. So, I want to make sure I don't have any problems with the city council in the future, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
I did time. I'm kind of a big deal.
Hardened, hardened night in jail criminal.
Longest night of my life.
It was. It was hard time. You don't understand.
I was there too.
You weren't there like I was. I was a thief.
I think you and I had very, very different experiences.
I think we did.
So, I'm not sure how much of that was just you conversing amongst yourselves, trying to come up with something, and how much of that was what you were actually saying to him.
No, the last stuff that I said, I was telling him
Okay.
that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, Ott seems to kind of laugh a little bit at you kind of playing up this night in jail as hard time. I mean, like, yeah, as you're kind of like embellishing this little story a bit, you can kind of see a smile on his face here, and he says, "Friend, boo, friend, you don't need to play up your little stint in the city, please. All of us here have probably done more time in places than you've been alive."
I've
But
done the hardest of time, friend. I can't, like, look at this guy, and I'll point at Mix, and I'll say, I'm bound to him forever until I die. I mean, that's probably about half of why I'm here. The stuff you're gonna want me to do is gonna be dangerous, and it might just put me out of my misery. Or him, which would be more beneficial to society in the end, to be honest.
well, I mean, if you intend to join up with the Xanathars, then, I mean, he won't be the only one you're binding your life to.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
All right.
I
Well,
was told there would be cake.
cake. I mean, the confectioner's shop is upstairs. You can certainly get some when they're open tomorrow. But I
But I
can't
want
say
cake
we
now.
usually bring them down here for the more serious side of the business.
Boo, you said there'd be cake.
Shh, I'll get you cake. Just don't worry about it. Hold on.
So, I guess the first order of business then, if you're wanting to enter into an agreement with the Xanathars Guild, is we do have one large requirement to join. But I think, at least from what I've seen of you all already, I think you may already have it covered. And I can vouch for that. I sat in on I poked my head in on your court case the other day, saw the proceedings there. Usually, when one joins the Xanathar Guild, we want to have our new members prove their loyalty by committing a serious crime. And fortunately for you all, it seems you already have one of those under your belt with the murder of a Lord and Lady of Waterdeep. I think that
Alleged.
I mean, if you want to go with alleged, we can certainly have you do something else. But I think
Yeah, I'll
Oh
the
no,
do
oh no,
anything.
he's
No,
done
that's
hard
fine.
time.
Anything. Except for kids. Unless
Boo,
they're
just
really into
shut up.
I mean, I think, at least from what I saw, it seemed pretty clear the deed was done, but other interests took precedence over the judge and jury, and indeed the city, it seems, which, worked out well in your favor, but nevertheless, the serious crime was still done. You're fortunate to still have your heads. I mean, usually something of that caliber, you'd be long gone by now. So count yourselves grateful for that, at least.
Yeah, getting us off was not an easy task.
Well, I think with that in order, I can probably put in a good word for you here. That that you have an agreement with us will not cause you any trouble, and perhaps, if we have need of you or if you have need of us, we can work something out. I mean, with what you did to the Grahun family, and then of course the additional bonus of offing Erstal Floxton and a group of Zentrum as well that have been a pain in our sides for some time. That's a lot of good points in your favor.
You let me know where any others Zentrum are, and I'll take care of them for you. They hurt one of my kids, so.
Yes, I recall. I recall the situation when you pulled me out of that building. But yes, I will pass the word along. And perhaps you will hear from us very soon.
Good. Thank you. We appreciate it. We like doing business with you guys.
And Ott kind of sits up and he spits into one of his hands and kind of extends it in your direction, Boo.
I'll do the same, but I'll quietly use prestidigitation to clean his hand off before we clasp. That's gross.
Socially distant Waterdeep.
Yes.
All right, so you shake on this, and
So he'll drink the drink with mold in it, but he draws the line at spit shakes.
Yep.
I mean, mold is just part of the world. That's just how it is. But spit
It's
from
just
some
an
other person,
antibiotic in the making.
yeah, spits from some other person. Who knows where that's been?
Yep.
Mold's just mold.
Yep.
All right, so you shake on this, and Ott kind of smiles and kind of nods his head. As he nods his head, the little knitted tentacles on his hat kind of bob up and down. Um, he loves his hat. And, he takes his hand back and says, well, we'll let you be on your way. Thank you for taking the time to come and stop by. I appreciate you not wasting the opportunity.
Yes, of course. I look forward to speaking to you guys again in the future.
All right. And you see the kind of large half ogre kind of ambling across the floor towards you all, and he kind of seems to motion to you all back towards the stairs to kind of lead you back up and out onto the street. And you find yourself in the dock ward, and it's kind of, still kind of early night, maybe, maybe like 9 o'clock or something.
All right. You guys want to go drink some more or what? Are we going home? We go home and drink?
Yeah, go home and drink.
Okay. Let's go home and drink.
Okay. So you all head back up to Troll Skull. And as you kind of make it back to your place, you get inside, you step through the door, and you see a kind of a folded up note that seems to have been, maybe slipped under the door or slipped through the door at some point.
Alas, I found a note. Let's read it and see what it says.
You open the
Oh.
note.
I'll open the note.
So you open up the note and you see kind of very hastily written text in the note that says, I have a huge problem with rats in my cellar. Really huge. This is nothing for your run-of-the-mill adventurers. I need some experienced, heavy-duty killers with some sort of arcane backup. This is a big quest for big earners. Come to my place on Soothsayer's Way in the Trades Ward during the evening. Ask for Gromhill Whitehammer.
Well, this sounds like right up our alley, guys.
Are we playing Skyrim now?
Yep, let's go. It's evening. Let's go right now. I want to check this out. Rats in the cellar? We can handle this in our sleep. One glyph of warning will blow that cellar to hell. And no more rats.
Probably don't want to cast Fireball in the cellar.
Come on. Let's
What
go,
have
guys.
we learned about fire?
And
Nothing.
Fireball.
Let's go. We haven't learned anything about fire. Come on, guys.
Excuse you. What about
Yeah, we
accidentally
did.
burning down part of the town?
Hush. Calm down. That wasn't me.
And your children being traumatized by a rogue Nimbrite.
We have been far more traumatized by the casting of Friends.
That is true. Friendship is much, much more terrifying. So,
Friends are scarier than fire.
Friends scarier than fire.
I don't know what y'all are talking about. I don't even have that spell anymore.
We didn't see anything. Mix doesn't know Friends. What is this? Winners rewriting
Yeah, there's
history.
that friend spell.
All right. Well, I think at this point, this would be a good spot to take our little break before we go check out the huge rats. Huge rats in this person's cellar. Big deal. Heavy hitters. So
I've been there.
we'll
I'll
take
help them.
we'll take our little break here and be back in 10 minutes or so and continue along. Welcome back. Okay, so got this note about huge rats, rats of unusual size, um, going on. The bigliest rats. So you head down to the part of the trades ward that he mentioned here, Soothsayer Way, and let me get the map up of the area here. So on this map, the eastern chunk of Waterdeep, if you scroll down to kind of the bottom part of the map, there's the words Trades Ward. It's the green pin just to the left of the word Trades Ward. It says Grombill Whitehammer on it. That's where you're going. Soothsayer Way.
Hang on, can you reshare the map? I don't know what the hell I did. Oh no, I found it. There we
Okay, cool. Let me,
go. Okay.
I'll share it again just in case. There we go. Okay, so yeah, Grombill Whitehammer's down on Soothsayer Way. So you head down this way, and Trades Ward is fairly nice, fairly nice part of town. It's a lot of kind of kind of middle class ish, I guess I would say, in terms of the construction and the um, quality that the buildings look. A lot of shops around here, but you make your way down the high road from the northern part of town, and then head over to Soothsayer Way, where Grumbles is, and it looks to be kind of a pretty typical two-story little home here, kind of smushed in between a few other ones here. They're all kind of packed in tight as they can. They kind of fit as many people as they can in this part of town. But still well to do. It's got there's a little bit of a lamp in the front window, um, and the door has kind of a nice ornate um, knocker on it that's shaped like uh, has like kind of an ornament that looks like a chicken on it, kind of tooled into the iron.
All right. I'll knock that chicken.
All right. So you knock the little door knocker here, and after a moment, the door opens, and you find yourself looking at a dwarf who he has like this red short hair that's been kind of neatly coiffed on either side of his face. He has kind of a fresh, well kept face. It seems a little tense. These kind of shining blue eyes, and a very nice full mustache, kind of salt and pepper mustache, kind of extending underneath his wide dwarven nose. And so he kind of sees you all standing here as he opens the door and says, "Ah, you're the troll school lot about the job, right?"
Yep.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. Please come in. Let me tell you all about it. And he kind of motions for you all to come into the house. You go into house. So you head inside, and the interior of the house is actually quite well furnished. Like the outside of the house looks, pretty normal, but the inside of the house is very well put together. The furnishings are very fine. Has all these nice pieces of art on the walls, various things. He kind of sits you down on a few of these kind of well crafted um, couches here in this front room. And as you all sit down here, he says, "Oh, I am so glad that you came so quickly. Uh, I've heard that you've been helping people around the city before, and I think this might be something that you can assist me with here. Um, you've heard of white hammers, correct?"
Refresh my memory. I've and I'll tap my pipe out and load it again.
White Hammers is a place you have been recently that had very delicious chicken nuggets.
Oh, that place! Shit, yeah, those things are awesome. You got any?
And his face kind of beams a little bit as you excitedly, kind of go on about the food at his place. He says, "Well, I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't have any here around my home, but yes, that's my joint. I'm glad to hear you've heard of it. The problem, I must say, the problem is with my business, not so much my cellar or rats, as it were. I needed to kind of keep the problem on the down low, if you understand. Um, didn't want my uh, didn't want word to get out and freak out the customer base. But so here's the problem. Okay, my customers keep turning to stone, and for a while,
Yeah, we're aware of.
oh oh, you're
Worth it.
you're how okay. Please don't tell me that word has got out about this. How do you know about this?
Happened to my friend here.
Part of my
Yeah.
leg fell off. I'll show him the chip on my foot because, I think part of my foot got chipped off or something.
Yeah, part of your foot
During
did
that whole
get chipped off.
Yeah.
He says, "Well, okay, well, I mean, I guess it's good that you kind of know the situation already, but the the problem is a little bit more than just a rogue foot. We keep having customers that fully turn to stone, and for now, I've been keeping them in my office. Most of them go back to normal after a day or so, usually, and then they just kind of wander out on their own. Um, but the one that got knocked over and fell to the ground didn't. He kind of broke into pieces. So that's a little bit of a problem. Maybe it was for the best. Maybe he seems a little bit nervous by all this. He says, "Well, um, I'd like to find out whatever's going on with my business. I've had such great success, but I fear there's I fear this may undermine everything I've worked for. I'd like to know what's going on. Do you think this is something that you're up to? That you'd be able to help me out with?"
Yeah, I thought you had rats in your basement, though.
No, like I said, that was to keep it on the down low. I can't really.
Oh, I was all worked up to kill rats, man. All right.
Will we be paid in unlimited nuggets?
I want a gold card. Yeah.
I mean, you you heard that they've been turning to stone,
Yeah,
right?
we'll fix that. That's not a problem. We want payment.
I didn't turn to stone.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Okay, we want payment in the form of unlimited nuggets. And maybe some gold too, but mostly unlimited nuggets.
It's not worth arguing with them. I've been trying to convince them to stop eating the nuggets for days.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's in the best interest for your health, but
We're fine.
if you're able to sort out what's happening with it and maybe stop the petrification that seems to be happening to people, then perhaps yeah, we can strike up a deal with that. I can give you that for saving my name and my business.
Well, how about you feed Boo here nuggets until he petrifies, and then I'll see what I can do to fix it.
You're not testing any more shit on me.
I haven't tested anything on you yet
You just wait, friend.
that you know about.
All right, so he kind of claps his hands together here and says, "Well, if you're going to assist, let me take you over to my restaurant here, and I'll let you have a look around, have free reign of the place, see if you can figure out where this is coming from.
Nice. Let's do it. I'm gonna eat some nuggets while I'm there. I ate nuggets while I'm there, right?
I don't think there's any up made in the middle of the night, I'm afraid, but I mean, you can certainly look around, and I hope you're able to find what the source of this all is. But please, here, come with me. And he kind of wanders over to the door and starts kind of putting on a kind of coat of sorts and motions for you all to follow him out into the street.
I'm gonna
Okay,
eat
who
them
does?
cold. Like I'll eat them raw. Let's find these things.
Mix is gonna kind of make his way over to Zyara as they're walking and lean over, go, "You do have restoration, right?"
No.
Oh, they're
We
so
had to
screwed.
take him to a temple last time, and it was very expensive.
I wasn't with you last time, but oh, they're so screwed if you don't have restoration.
All right, so you all are kind of walking along, and he takes you across town, kind of back over to the western side, just outside the kind of city offices where the White Hammer's location that you'd been to was, and takes you around back into the kind of side employee entrance on the backside, and lets you in to kind of the storage area and the kitchens back here. And he says, he kind of leads you inside, and he says, "Well, I'll leave you all to it out here. Um, I'll, I'll wait up in my office upstairs, I guess. And if you're able to find anything out, please just come find me up there."
Okay.
All right. So he leaves you guys to it down here, and currently you find yourselves in kind of a you're kind of in just kind of like a back entryway right now. There's a door to the right and a door to the left, and then straight ahead of you kind of opens up into kind of the back kitchen area of this place. And you can see kind of on the far side of the kitchen there is the door that leads out into the front part of the restaurant where the counter is.
Okay. I'm not leading you guys in here in the dark. That's dangerous for a small guy like me. Chinku, you should go in front.
Mix is just gonna shake his head and cast light.
Okay. So you cast light, and the area around you is illuminated, and you see it looks like the doors in the back here. One of the doors appears to be labeled as like a washroom of sorts. That's the left-hand door. The right-hand door is labeled as storage. And then in the kitchen in front of you, you can kind of see various kind of preparing tables they're laid out. You can see cooking implements, pots, knives, things like that sitting around. Um, what do you guys do?
Is there like a burner where Mix can light a burner and he's gonna pull out his alchemical supplies so he can start testing everything?
Yeah, there are definitely burners. There's like a kind of a stovetop in here of sorts. Um, you can cast a little bit or kind of light some fire on it and get a little bit of flame going if you wanted to set something up to do some testing on things. Sure.
Yeah, Mix is gonna work on that and pull out his alchemical supplies out of his
Okay.
backpack and start setting them up on the counter so he can start testing everything in his kitchen.
Sure. So Mix starts getting that set up. What do the rest of you guys do? Mix is kind of setting up alchemical supplies.
I'll poke around, I guess.
Okay. In the
Just-
kitchen or into the storage
Yeah,
or
like I'll try and thoroughly investigate the kitchen
okay.
first. I mean, that's where they're getting prepared, so that's where I'd be looking to see if I can figure out what the hell's going on.
Sure. All right. So you look around the kitchen here. You're kind of looking at some of the counters and some of the drawers and things. One of the things you find is there seems to be a larger drawer of sorts that is um, kind of standing upright next to one of the preparing tables, and you open it up, and this kind of cold waft of air comes out, and you can see these kind of large blocks of ice that are sitting in here, and there is a kind of a small crate sitting on top of one of these blocks of ice in this ice box.
What's inside?
It appears to be some kind of meat.
Okay. Let's take a look.
All right, go ahead and roll a nature check for me.
Can do.
Okay. So you take a look over this meat here, and at least from what you're able to tell, um, it seems to be chicken.
Okay. So we've got this chicken. And then they batter it and fry it up and serve it, right?
Yeah, that seems to be the case, at least from, Jinku, maybe you're overlooking at some of the other cupboards nearby. There's various, supplies for, kind of like a batter of sorts. There's flour, there's spices, things of that nature, all kind of stored away up here.
You want to test this chicken out, Mix? I don't know what you can test with your business over there, but why don't you give it a shot?
Yes, and chip off a piece of that ice as well.
Okay. So you hand over a piece of this chicken here and some of this ice over to Mix. What are you doing with these, Mix?
He's going to run tests. I mean, he's pretty into alchemy. He studies it all the time in his free time, so he would know
Sure.
how to do tests. I don't know what check to roll though.
In your case, for this, I'll go ahead and have you do a nature check with advantage, since you're kind of familiar with alchemical natures of things. And since you have all your equipment here as well, that'll kind of help you out too. So go ahead and do that with advantage. Okay. So you kind of set this chicken down on the table. You're kind of maybe dropping a few different of these alchemical liquids that you have here, trying to see if you get any sort of readings on this. Um, and it's a little difficult to make out clearly with the light. Um, like there's still a good bit of shadow in here, but it seems to you that it is regular old chicken.
What about the ice? You want me to roll a separate check for that?
Yeah, sure, go ahead. The ice looks like regular ice, nothing out of the ordinary. Just a block of ice.
Nick's just gonna go around looking for like spices and herbs and stuff, so he can start identifying them, seeing if there's anything shifty.
Okay. All right, so you kind of start poking around the cabinets there. Zara, what are you up to?
Zyara is probably just poking around as well to see if she finds anything odd or like any sign of like potions or like odd herbs that might be in the kitchen.
Okay. Just in the kitchen, not in the storage or anything. Just all in the kitchen.
I think right now she's just looking in the kitchen since it seems like there's people in the storage area.
Okay. Um, are you wanting to check out this meat as well?
Sure.
Okay. Roll nature for me. All right.
It looks like chicken.
Looks like chicken. Yep, it looks like chicken to you too. All right. So you also start kind of looking around at spices here.
Yeah, I'm looking for any odd herbs.
Sure. So, I mean, in terms of the herbs that you see around, you see things like salt and pepper, maybe paprika, maybe some onion powder, garlic powder, um, thyme. No strange herbs. They all seem to be pretty normal herbs to you.
Okay.
Jinku, what are you up to?
I'm just looking around too, but I don't know a whole lot, so I probably not finding much to be helpful.
Okay. What about you, Torta?
Sitting on the counter watching.
Sitting on the counter watching. You're more on the baking side of things than the meat craft side of things.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So, I mean, at least from what you've seen around the kitchen so far, uh, nothing too out of the ordinary.
Is there? So I'll check out another room here if there's
Okay.
nothing out of the ordinary here.
Sure. Yeah. So you head into the storage room in the back. You head in here, and you see there's a few more of these kind of ice box type uh, containers in here. You also see kind of up against the back wall, there seems to be something with like a kind of like a tarp or like a cloth or something draped over it.
Well, I'm gonna poke my nose into that, of course.
Okay. So you kind of lift the corner of the tarp here, and under the tarp appears to be a uh, human-sized stone statue of what looks to be a teenage boy wearing the uniform of White Hammers.
Whoops! Hey, I found one of the workers. Right there. Any nuggets in his pockets?
There are some, yeah.
I'll put them in my pockets.
All right. You check out any of the ice boxes in here?
Yeah, I'll look in them.
Okay. Again, in these ice boxes, you see more of this meat. Do you want to check out the meat in here?
Yeah, see if it's any different. I guess.
Sure. Go
Roll
ahead.
nature.
Yep. Roll nature. All right. So you're looking over the meat in here, and as far as you can tell, for the most part, it seems the same as the other meat out there. But you notice um, some of the like that. There's a couple of pieces that seem to still have a little bit of skin on them compared to the other ones, which were all seemed to be all kind of skinned and deboned properly. And it doesn't quite look like chicken skin to you. Um, it seems a little leathery for what you would expect.
Okay. I'll bring that out and point it out.
Okay, you're gonna hand it over to Mix to have him.
Yeah, may as well have him check it out.
Okay. Um, so how about you and Mix both go ahead and roll nature with advantage on this as you're kind of doing these alchemical tests, and we'll see if you find anything out. Nice. Okay, very nice. So you do a few tests on the skin and it's this meat that's attached to it, and this time you're able to make out that this meat appears to be from a cockatrice.
Well, that would explain why it looks and tastes like chicken. Wonder who's killing cockatrices around here and just feed them to people.
Uh, Would Mix know what a cockatrice is? I have no clue.
Yeah, you would know what a cockatrice is. Let me get a thing up here. That is a cockatrice.
Beautiful.
Oh
They're like little bat chickens.
Oh, they're little? I thought they were big.
They are. Hold on, let me double check what their size is.
They look big.
I don't think they're like huge, but they are. Let me see how big they are. 1 second. Oh no, they're small. They're small. Small size.
Oh wow. Okay.
And you'd also know, like, I mean, from what you know about cockatrices, Mix, um, you would know that they are able to, like, their bite is known to petrify people.
Oh, Mix is gonna start harvesting the skin, and it's going in a beaker. And he's gonna start diluting it into a potion so he can turn people to stone when he wants to.
All right. All right. So you start kind of you peel, the pieces that did still have a little bit of skin on them here. You kind of start peeling that off and storing that in your own little alchemical beakers that you've got. So yeah, it seems that the meat being used here is cockatrice meat. Do you look around anything else around in here? Uh, Actually, Torta, you are. So you said you were kind of sitting over on the counter, kind of watching all of this go on. And where you're sitting, there's a couple of drawers that are kind of immediately under your feet. Um, and it's like as you're sitting there, you're kind of maybe kicking your feet back and forth, kind of passing the time, and your foot bumps one of these drawers, and it slides open a little bit, and you see kind of a variety of papers stacked in here.
Start rummaging through.
All right, give me an investigation check here. All right. So you scroll through or you kind of rifle through these papers here, and for the most part, a lot of them seem mostly uninteresting. There's a few of them that seem to be like printed versions of advertisements for White Hammers, and some of them seem to be maybe old or like copies of like the menu or notes like that. But you do find at the bottom of the drawer, kind of shoved towards the back, like it's a little bit crumpled. It seems like as other things got put in here, it got kind of smushed back under there. You find what looks to be a contract, and it reads, for a lifetime discount on tender meat bits, the undersigned agrees to exclusively buy tender meat bits from the partner, to not disclose the exclusive business relationship to third parties, and to become the property of the Viscount of Minaros.
To become the property of the Viscount?
Mm-hmm.
I'll just give them to the others because I don't know what to do.
Okay. So you hand this contract over. Boo, it sounds like you were asking about it, so you're probably looking it over here.
Yeah. Yep. So it looks like this guy sold himself to some Viscount for the cockatrice meat. I mean, I don't blame him. It's good meat.
And I mean, aside from this and what you found with the meat so far, I mean, everything else in here seems to check out pretty normally, from what you can tell. But you at least have these couple things to go on.
I'll go up. We should go up and talk to him. What do you think, guys?
I think we
Okay.
have enough evidence.
Nothing. You don't think we have enough yet? All right, let's keep looking.
No, I said we have enough.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm pretty, amenable to whatever you guys want. So let's go talk to him. Let's confront him with our evidence we have thus far.
Okay. So you head up to the office here, and you see Grombo kind of sitting behind his desk up here. He seems to be kind of nervously, kind of twiddling his fingers, waiting for you guys to, bring him any news of what you found out. So you walk into the office, and he kind of immediately sits up as you all come in. He says, "So, did you find the cause? What is it coming from?"
Well, I love these nuggets. They're good. But it would seem that they are made from cockatrice meat, which I guess is likely a problem for a number of reasons.
And as you mentioned the cockatrice meat, he kind of sits up with surprise and says, "What? I thought I had an agreement for chicken bits. What is this?"
Ten- Tender meat bits is what you have an agreement for, sir.
Oh, wait, how do you know that? Where did you find that?
We found it in some drawers down there. You told us to take a look at things, and I'll show him the paper.
Okay. And he kind of looks over this contract a bit and he says, "Ah, blasted, it does say tender meat bits, doesn't it? That
Yeah, that
You
bastard."
gotta read the whole
yeah,
thing.
yeah, that's how they got you, buddy. Right there, tender meat bits.
Ugh. Well, I'll tell you what. So, I don't really know too much about the suppliers of the, well, cockatrice meat, it seems. They usually come and drop off the raw meat in the storage room during the night. So perhaps, and usually, this time of night, I'm, away at home on my own. I let them do their thing and deliver it, and then we cook it up the next day, and off we go, greasing the wheels of the business. So I've never actually interacted with the delivery men of this. So would you mind maybe staking it out down there and seeing what comes up?
Yeah, we got nothing else going on, really. We don't have court anymore. I already served my time.
Hard time. All right. Well, good. I think. I mean, he actually he digs through his pockets here, and he pulls out the key that he'd used to unlock the place, and he says, "Well, I need to go get some rest back at my home, but here." And he hands the key to you, Boo. And he says, "Here's the key to the back door of the place. Please lock up when you go. I don't want my business to be taken out by something else in the night. But please look into this for me, and I'll be happy to repay you for saving my business."
Yeah, sounds good, buddy.
All right. And so Grumble heads out and bids you a good night, and begins making his way out and back over to his home, leaving you all to it here.
Well, guys, let's go hang out in the place. You want to determine what's chicken here and cook up some nuggets while we're hanging out, waiting for this delivery? What do you say? Come on, tasty little nugs.
I get swords. I'm good. But you do you.
I like nuggets.
Come on, Jinku, let's go get us some nugs.
Mix is like trying to figure out how he can slip cockatrice meat into Boo's nuggets and watch him turn to stone so he can laugh.
He already did that and turned partly to stone ones. It's fine.
All right, so you guys all head back downstairs. So I mean, at least from what he had told you, it sounds like they, come and deliver and just bring it into the storage room at some point during the night. So how, like, where are you all wanting to set up? Are you wanting to all like be in the storage room, or like in the kitchen watching the back door, or like how are you wanting to set up for this?
I think we should camp out in the storage room and wait for him and like spring on him and be like, "Blah! What's up?" What do you guys think? I like the art of surprise myself.
That's a
Hey,
very nice plan.
how long does that invisibility stuff you put on me work? How long does that go?
Oh, there you go.
Only about an hour, my friend. Only about an hour.
I mean, I'm all for pummeling people. It's what I do for a living.
I mean, we don't have to pummel them right away. We can just like
Watch and
know,
see what they're doing. Yeah,
see what's
follow.
up.
You said when they come in, go, hey, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Hey, yeah. To me,
Well,
it's
that's
pummel.
just how I say hi
That's code.
sometimes. I'm a friendly little bloke.
Since when?
Hey, now. Calm yourself, Jinku.
Okay.
All right. So you just say the word pummel and I'll jump in.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you when to pummel.
Okay. So are you all going in the storage room, or
Well, first I cook up some nuggets. And then we should all go hang out in the storage room together and wait. Maybe I'll put my familiar out and tell him to watch the door and come poke us.
okay?
I mean, I can stealth around if you need somebody on the perimeter.
Okay.
Well, I think we should all like they come here, they deliver them into this room, right?
In the storage room, yeah.
Yeah, so we can expect them here. Plus, I just made these tender nuggets. Come on, you want some, Jinku?
Yeah.
I'll give Jinku some nuggets.
Okay. So you all get set up kind of in the storage room here, kind of crouching behind some of the shelves, or some of the crates that are in there, trying to make yourselves not quite so seen. And you have your little familiar. Is your familiar inside the building watching the door, or is he like outside the door watching?
Inside, I'll be sitting and I have to control him, so I'll be like sitting and watching the door with him inside.
Okay. So you're all waiting in here, and after maybe an hour or so of kind of watching in silence here, you start hearing some noises from outside, and you kind of hear some noises of sounds like something heavy being moved, and also this kind of um, almost kind of like an oozing noise. It's kind of a weird kind of squelching of sorts. Um, and you're looking through your familiar's eyes as he's sitting out here, kind of watching the door in the kitchen. And the back door of the place, you see like the handle move, and then eventually it swings open, and you see a about 5 or so foot tall figure come in. And the first thing you notice looking through your familiar is that the entire like top part of its body is obscured by what looks to be a potato sack. and out of the bottom of the potato sack just seems to be like blob, like just this mass of flesh coming out of the bottom of this potato sack and just kind of spilling onto the floor. And it seems to be carrying a crate, which looks like the kind of the ones that are already in the ice boxes that you've seen. And you also see behind it another one of these, also obscured in a potato sack on the top half of its body, carrying another crate. And they kind of slither almost into the kind of back entryway area, and start opening the door here to the storage room. And the first thing you notice, all of you in the storage room here, as soon as the door opens, you are hit with this absolutely wretched stench. This like hot stink just comes like wafting into the storage room as the door opens, and like the breeze from that kind of blows that in here. And you can now see, all of you in the storage room, these kind of oozing creatures, half in a potato sack, kind of coming in, putting, with the crates. You can kind of see what looks to be an arm with a hand, opens, one of the ice boxes here, and they load these into the ice box, and they kind of start to turn and head out the storage room door.
I don't think we should hire the yet, but let's follow these guys.
Okay. So you all wait for them. I assume you're waiting for them to kind of get out of the building first before you start
Mm-hmm.
going after. Okay. So these two creatures, head back out the door, and kind of ooze and slither their way out the back door of the restaurant. And you guys step out from behind your hiding place behind the crates, and start making your way after them. Like the whole time, you're just constantly being hit by this hot, sick, foul stench the entire way. And you can kind of see on the ground, like sometimes there's like, it's not like all the times, but you keep seeing like little kind of tiny pieces of um, this kind of oozy material that seems to be kind of left behind. Just like little small pieces here and there. But you kind of continue to follow this reek out the door and kind of down the alleyways away.
I will put the end of my trunk in my pocket where I keep my pocket peanuts so I don't have to smell them.
Good plan. Good plan. All right. So you eventually follow these things, kind of winding through the alleyways behind this particular block. And they get to kind of a little dead end alleyway nearby. And they lift up a sewer grate that's kind of covering in the kind of corner of this little cul-de-sac of alleyway. And both of them just kind of ooze down into the sewer beneath.
Okay.
Keep following.
Yeah.
All right. Let me see here. All right. So you head back. You head down into the sewers after these things, and as soon as you get down, like from the grate into like the sewer proper, you see kind of left haphazardly on the kind of walkway part of the sewer here are a couple of potato sacks that they were wearing before. And like in the sewer that you're in here, um, it seems to go. There's a door like just across the way, like almost immediately across the flow way of the sewer. Like it's about maybe 3 feet across or so. You see there's a doorway over there that seems to be have recently opened. You kind of see you can kind of follow the stench almost. Kind of heads into that doorway.
All right, what's through the doorway?
Okay. So you head through the doorway, and the doorway goes down a short little flight of stairs. And let me show you a map here. Might take a moment. It's a little larger of a map. There we go. Okay. So you kind of find yourself like the doorway that you came in is like at the top of that little L of stairs. And so they kind of loop around, and this appears to be a kind of nondescript maintenance room of sorts. There's some dusty tools hanging from the wall, and some like construction materials, like some pieces of wood and some bricks and things that are kind of scattered about the floor. And there appears to be another door to the south in this room.
What's through that door?
So you head through here, and you find yourself uh, in what almost looks to be a bit of an office of sorts. There's a tidy desk in this room here, and several filing cabinets that are kind of standing against the wall behind the desk. And on the desk, there are 2 candles that burn with these kind of green flames. And you can see there's a poster hanging on the wall behind the desk. And the poster has what looks to be a chained up person hanging from the wall in like a dungeon, it seems. And they appear to be in the process of getting tortured by a horned figure with a branding iron. And in these thick white letters beneath this image, it says, "Hang in there."
Oh Lord.
All right.
This is gonna go downhill fast.
Do you look around anything in this room here?
Let's not hang around too long, guys.
Yeah, I don't want to hang in there too long. Could go badly.
So do you investigate anything?
I'll shuffle around the desk and the filing cabinets for a minute.
Sure. So, Torta, you poke around, and the filing cabinets here, and you see that a lot of the documentation in here seem to be extensive statistics and bookkeeping. Go ahead and actually hold on. Let me pull up your thing here. So you look over this like bookkeeping and statistics here, and you can't really make too much sense of it. This isn't really something that you usually deal with. It's just, you see a lot of numbers, you see a lot of pluses and minuses and columns of things, tables, but what it all means, you aren't really sure.
I'll look back. Hey, smart people, and then I'll just look to Boo and hand him the book.
Okay.
You're calling him smart?
I'm the smartest one of the bunch.
All right, so
Compared to
Boo.
the rest of you, I agree.
Boo, you look over these various notes and things, and from what you can see, it seems like uh, whatever this is here seems to run a pretty successful business. And you also find a couple notes a few times of what seems to refer to somebody by the name of Honest Bob. Um, And you also seem to find, kind of examining over these, that in addition to being a successful business, Honest Bob seems to pay proper taxes.
Guy pays his taxes at least. Nothing interesting though. Moving on.
Moving on. All right. So out of this room, there's another door. Like there's a little tiny hall that leads to the east, and there's a door at the end of that seems to lead outwards into something else.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So you crack open the door here, and there we go. On the other side of this door, there's kind of a little bit of a landing here, and then just off of that landing seems to be a kind of a larger pool or basin of sorts of sewer flow. You see a few little pipes that seem to be coming in off the walls to the north and the south that kind of have, various sewage stink flowing out of them. Across this kind of basiny area, you see what looks to be some more walkway over on the eastern end, and there also appears to be kind of a larger conduit that kind of heads diagonally-ish to the north, off that way.
Reminds me of home.
Perhaps you should lead then.
I'll just jump through, start going over to the other side.
Okay, just like jumping through the sewage, or are you like jumping like across that whole thing?
I don't think I can make it, but I'll do 2 jumps.
2 jumps. Okay. So you do 1 jump, make it about halfway across the thing. And in terms of depth, it doesn't seem like this kind of basiny area is too deep. It's maybe about 2 foot or so of sewage flow. It smells terrible, but you manage to make it across in 2 leaps, and you land over on the opposite side on the little walkway on the eastern end there. Let me actually let me drag you guys on this sheet here. 1 second. Oops, there is not a grid. Hold on.
The grid is a lie.
There we go. That should be pretty close. All right, so Tord is over here. Boo. Zara. Jinku. And Mix. Okay, there you all are. Now you're on the map.
I'll follow, sort of grumbling about the nasty water.
Okay. All of you kind of wade your way across this little 2-foot deep pool of poo.
Nick's just waiting for everybody else to get away from him before he goes across.
Okay. Zara, you just heading across?
Yes.
Okie doke. All right, Mix, what are you doing?
I guess making a bunch of noise right now would be a bad thing, right?
Probably.
Probably.
In general, when trying to be sneaky, making lots of noise is bad.
Is
Pro
there any way
tips.
Nix can climb on the walls to keep his feet above the sewage? Because he
I mean, there are, on that southern wall, there are like a couple of like pipes that kind of come out and are, kind of shooting.
Oh gosh,
Or
get
kind
on my back, Mix. I'll carry you across, you big baby.
Oh no, this
Oof.
is gonna be classic. Nix is gonna try to jump and grab the pipes, so he just critically failed that. So you can tell me what's about to happen to him.
Sure. So, Jinku, like you're kind of starting to make your way back across this basin here to pick up Mix, who you see kind of hemming and hawing about what he's going to do. And as you're about halfway across the pool, Jinku, you see Mix kind of take a little leap with his hands outstretched, trying to grab onto this pipe that's sticking out of the wall on the southern side. And the pipe was a lot slicker than he thought, and so he pretty much just like his hands hit it, and then the weight of his body coming up there, he just completely kind of flies, kind of leans backwards, hands slip off the pipe, and just completely falls into the stuff below, just like completely immersed, just totally immersed in it.
Well, you're not getting on my back now.
Yeah, Mix is just gonna get up and kind of wade across, and he's pissed.
All
Like,
right.
the next thing he sees is getting murdered badly.
Okay.
Hi, Boo.
Hey, what's going on, Sarah?
Oh, just laughing at Mix another day.
Yeah, it is just another day. Yep. Just another
All right. So um, Torta, you're kind of looking down this hallway here, and you see this looks to go kind of straight forward a little ways, and then opens up into another kind of larger room in here.
All right, we'll start heading in.
Okay. So you kind of poke your head around the corner, take a look in here. This just appears to be kind of another larger kind of flow, kind of collection room as things are coming through the sewers. Got a lot more pipes coming in, perhaps from the houses overhead. These are all maybe individual pipes from each of these, from the south and on the eastern walls that are all coming in. In this area, you've got kind of this ring of flow around the edges of the room. The path continues up towards the north, and then there's kind of a little raised area in the middle around some pillars that seem to be supporting the kind of slightly curved ceiling of this sewage room here.
All right, I'm just gonna keep going up.
Going up. Okay. So you head up to the northern end of this room. And as you're getting to the northern end, so like you see that there's kind of a little stone bridge of sorts that goes over this little stream of flow here and goes across into what looks to be another room to the north. And as you're getting close, you start hearing some sounds of uh, what appear to be chicken sounds, maybe a little more harsh. But you start hearing kind of some clucking and maybe some screeching now and then, kind of the sound of cages, kind of the sound of creatures moving around, and it seems to kind of get louder as you're moving north in this room, getting closer to this little bridge. And you also see, looking across the bridge, as the path continues to the north, the room to the north appears to be more lit.
I will kind of look back, have everybody stop, and drop into stealth and go forward.
All right. Everybody go. If you guys are all continuing to head north up here, go ahead and roll stealth for me as you guys are sneaking up over this bridge in here.
I'm gonna find my character sheet under all of these windows.
I believe in you.
Do you?
Do I look
Maybe
back
you
and notice
shouldn't.
that they're coming across?
Yeah, you look back and see them all coming up. As you're watching them, Torta, like you can tell that they aren't being the most stealthy. All of them. And yeah, as they're starting to come across this bridge here.
I'll just huff and mumble pummel, as I had told them to stay there until I came back.
Okay. So, Torta, as you're kind of getting into this room here, you can kind of see more of this as you're kind of peeking around the corner. And this room is full of cages. Like there's kind of this. It's mostly on this kind of raised area out of the sewage flow in the middle here. Like kind of around all of the edges of that little middle island of sorts, are just all of these cages stacked on top of each other, and there's dozens of these kind of weird leathery looking chicken things that are kind of screeching and fighting each other and making noise. And all throughout these cages, and you see in the middle of it all, in the middle of these cages, there is a kind of cackling winged creature throwing small bits of things into the cages and watching these cockatrices fight over the morsels here. And you also notice that this winged creature. Give me a perception check actually, as you're trying to kind of get a look at this guy through the cages and the cockatrices here. Okay. From what you can make out, at least, 'cause it's kind of hard to tell with all the cages and the kind of writhing beasts in them between your vision and where he's at. You can see that where his like head and his wings and stuff are seem to be about maybe 7 or 8 feet off the ground. And then you see kind of, you can't really make out very well, like what the bottom half of him looks like, but it seems like kind of a larger shadow of a shape uh, on the lower half there, but you can't make it out very well between all the cockatrices causing a ruckus.
And did we lose the blob guys?
At least from what you've seen so far, you haven't seen any of the blob guys yet.
And nobody else in the room besides the thing.
Not that you can see through the cockatrices, no.
All right, I'll go back and give a report of what I see.
Okay.
A winged thing with no weird lowish body. Didn't see very much.
Does it sound like anything I've ever heard of?
I mean, you have, some knowledge of, like, it maybe sounds kind of vaguely related to something devilish, like some kind of demon.
Okay.
But you aren't really sure without a better description than, some sort of creature with some wings, because that could be quite a few of them.
Yeah.
At least from what Tortoise saw, its head seems to be 8 feet or so off the ground, so it's a pretty big guy, it seems. But you aren't quite sure what that might be, but it seems demonic to you.
Some sort of demon. Huh. Okay. We've handled demons. I've got one bound up inside this little guy. And I'll punch my familiar in the face.
Okay.
If there's one thing that I've learned from watching as many episodes of Ghost Adventures as I have, it's that everything is a demon.
Everything is a demon. All right. So what are you all deciding to do here with this room full of cockatrices and some thing in the middle? Tossing them food.
Does it look feasible that he could release all of these at once? Like it's
Uh,
not a pull mechanic on these cage.
Release the cockatrice.
Release the cockatrice. From what you can tell, I mean, you aren't really sure if any sort of mechanicals when it comes to the cages, because they're whatever the door would be, they're all facing inwards towards the middle, so away from you, and so you'd have a lot of bird flesh between you and a good view of those doors. But the cages don't look like the best constructed cages ever. Like, they seem to do their job, but they certainly don't look like high quality. So who knows how easy it would be to bust them all open in a ruckus if there was one.
Bust them open in a ruckus. I like it.
Can Mix get like line of sight on this dude? Like he moved up with Torta?
Yeah, Mix, if you move up there, sure. Go ahead and roll perception for me if you move up there with Torta. Oh, very nice. Okay. So you take a look towards the cages and the creature here, and you get kind of a better view. Like some of the cockatrices that were between you all seem to chill out for a little bit and maybe like lay a little bit lower in their cage, and you get a better view. And you see the lower half of this thing looks to be. You see what looks to be, and it's difficult to tell from the light in here because it's kind of the shadow of maybe kind of these torch lights on that end of the little island there. Is the bottom half of this seems to be mostly kind of fleshy, like you see just kind of almost a large mound of flesh, and in the middle of it all, what looks to be a chair of some kind, and then this thing with the wings is sitting or maybe standing on this chair on top of this pile of flesh and kind of cackling giddily to itself as it, chucks bits of God knows what to these cockatrices. It's kind of this high pitched little cackle. You kind of hear this, yeah, yeah, eat it, you little bastards.
Mix is gonna look at the others and be like, tell me I can kill him.
Yeah, I think you can kill him.
If Mix has line of sight on him and he's within 240 feet, he can blast him with an Eldritch blast. Actually, he can hit him with two of them.
Okay. So you're just gonna go right into the fight route.
Well, if y'all want to fight, I'll start it.
It seems intelligent. Maybe we can make a deal with it. Give us some of the meat, but not tainted meat. These things are really good. Go talk to him, Mix.
I
See what
mean,
he says.
Boo, you did. I mean, you did find that office full of well kept bookkeeping records. So
Yeah, you should talk to him, Mix. That's what I think. You should.
I don't want to talk to them.
You're like part demon. You should be able to empathize with this thing. Look at the filth he lives in. Isn't that what you crave?
I'm not part demon. I'm part god.
They're all the same thing.
Mix is like highly considering having his familiar go and start biting Boo's ankle.
So does that mean if I don't believe in gods, I don't believe that Mix is really here?
does Mix even exist?
You don't believe in part of him.
You don't believe in part of it. Which part though? Which part of Mix does not exist?
The part
Shoulders
that's
up.
God. But probably like, a kneecap, his left toes, and like half of his right ear.
Mix is like half normal person and half renegade spirit. Because,
Half normal.
oh god.
So if you're gonna send someone over to talk, I guess which one of you is gonna be the diplomat here?
Not me.
Mix will go, but he's going to have an Eldritch Blast ready. If this guy makes a threat, he's going to blast the living crap out of him.
Okay. All right. So Mix, you kind of make your way. Yeah, like the southern end of that is like there's an opening in the cages on the southern end, so you kind of make your way over to there. So as you kind of come around these cages here, you can see that like the kind of mound of flesh that the chair was kind of sitting on is actually those kind of oozy, fleshy creatures that you saw um, that had come into the restaurant earlier and that you were following around. There seem to be maybe 4 of them or so that are kind of carrying this chair on, I guess what you would call their shoulders. Um, this is what they look like.
Oh god, these things are revolting.
So you see, so these are all just kind of almost kind of placidly there carrying this chair. And they kind of slowly, like as you're kind of coming around this corner here, they kind of slowly turn around and the chair kind of turns around with it. And you see sitting on top of the chair these kind of bright uh, yellow eyes and what you recognize to be an imp sitting on top of this chair. Little imp. And he kind of looks at you as you come around the corner here and he says, "Oh, hello, visitors. Well, nice to meet you. I'm Honest Bob. What business do you have here today?"
Uh, I, I need to talk to your master about making a deal for some meat.
"Oh, well, I mean, you're looking at him. I'm Honest Bob. If you want to make a deal, I can make a deal."
I thought imps always had masters.
"Well, I can do well enough for myself for this kind of stuff."
So, is there any side effects to consuming these beautiful uh, things?
Well, I mean, I guess there might be. I mean, we feed him off of stuff from the sewer, so, I mean, who knows what goes up through that, but it works well enough. I mean, you can make all sorts of stuff out of it. Plus,
Could I
they.
make it a
Oh, go
Could I
ahead.
make it addictive so my patrons would have no choice but to continue consuming it?
Well, I mean, yeah, it does tend to have that kind of effect on people, but usually that's kind of a good thing.
Hmm. What kind of price and contract can we arrange here?
Well, I mean, the usual kind of contract for these sorts of things is, of course, your soul. That's kind of how it goes.
Hmm. But I don't have a soul.
Oh, well, that makes things a little difficult then, doesn't it, huh?
I'm a Kalishtar. You, you've heard of my race?
Uh, nope, not really. I mean, I know, you got your humans, you got your dwarves, you got your elves, and then you got all your demons and stuff. And I don't know about any of these other things, but I mean, if you don't got a soul, I don't really know how much I can do for you there. Besides, how did you even find this place? I don't remember any requests coming in for deals.
I have my ways.
And it's like you can see Honest Bob here. He kind of stands up on his little chair here, and you see him kind of looking around the room a bit. Um, the 3 of you that are over, kind of still over in that hallway there, roll stealth check for me if you're still trying to be stealthy over there.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Jinku and Zayara, uh, Yeah, you've been kind of hearing this kind of high pitched voice talking to Mix over here. And, you're all kind of crouching there in the hallway. And he says, and you kind of hear it call out to you, "Hey, what did you bring some friends with you? There's like a big one and a purple one over there. Hey, why don't you come on out? Got any
No,
business?"
no, Bob, you're talking with me. Leave them alone.
"Well, I mean, I am talking to you, but you don't got a soul, so I can't really do much business there now, can I? They might got a
Mix is,
soul."
Mix is gonna walk up to them and go, "No, you're dealing with me." I mean, he's going to get like a foot away from this dude.
Okay, so you're kind of stepping up to Honest Bob here, and he sees you getting closer, and he's like, "Now, come on, we don't want to get any sort of violence here. I don't really want. I try to keep my business good and clean as best as I can, of course. But let's not resort to violence here. Come on."
No, honest Bob, there's other things besides a soul. What can I offer you?
Well, I mean, I can't really say all I've ever known is doing business in souls and and doing business with coin. Uh, that's about all I know. I'm not really sure what else to ask for.
Hmm, coin we can do. I'm more interested in these creatures' venom, but my partners would like to produce things out of them and sell them potentially.
Oh, do they now? Well, why don't they come over here and see if we can make a deal here?
They sent me over for a reason.
You guys that are over there in the hallway here, like you're hearing this conversation going on between Mix and Honest Bob. This him. What are you all doing over here?
Waiting for the keyword pummel.
All right. How about you, Jinku and Zara, since he seemingly noticed you over there, called you out.
I'm just standing and listening to Mix talk to him.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Mix to fuck it up.
Yeah. Zara's just trying to be really quiet, and she's already at the back of the line, so she's preparing to get out of here if Mix fucks it up.
So supportive. So supportive.
We have every ounce of faith in you, Mix. Don't cast friends.
All right. So, as you're all kind of, you've been kind of standing there talking with them here and thinking over what kind of deals and things. Again, like Honest Bob gets kind of a weird, kind of puzzled look on his face, and again, it's like, so. I mean, I know you said you had your ways, but it seems kind of weird that you just found your way down here. Did you? How did you find me?
No, I followed the stench of your blob friends there.
Oh, from Whitehammers, right? They were making the delivery.
Well, I had to find out the secret of those nuggets.
Yeah, they are. They are pretty addictive with what he got put together. But yeah, I guess that makes sense that you would find it that way. But I mean, just a big fan of the Nuggets. And you followed him down here, or what?
Hmm. No, I study alchemy, and I was more interested in why people were turning to stone after eating them.
Oh yes. Well, I mean, they are cockatrice meat after all. I mean, cockatrices. If they bite you, turn you to stone. And he holds up one of his uh, feet here, and like one of his like hooves, like his right hoof, looks like a rock. And he's like, "See, they bit me there, little bastards."
Oh,
Nex is really considering opening one of these cages and teleporting out of here. Like, if Nick set off one of his thunder attacks, would these cages bust open? These things swarm this dude?
Like a thunder wave or something like that.
No, I have Thunder Step where I teleport and then, like, this thunder wave, 10-foot thunder wave
Oh,
attack comes from
okay.
where I was standing.
Um, I mean, if you did cast something like that, I mean, yeah, that would probably do some damage to the cages. Probably bust some of them open.
gotta figure out who's running this shit though.
Yeah, Mix is going to prepare that, and he goes, "Listen, Bob, I've never known an imp to run a business, and your records upstairs were immaculate. So, who takes care of that side of things?"
Well, me, of course. I run the whole joint.
Really? I find that surprising.
What? You think we imps are just too stupid to do that kind of stuff? We're smarter than you think.
I didn't say imps were stupid. I just never known imps to be good with numbers.
Well, not all of them are, but I am. That's why I'm honest, Bob. I do good business.
Fucking honest, Bob. God damn it,
Well,
Moo. Just god damn it. I'm trying, man. Shit.
Oh.
well, Bob, tell me how much per pound.
Well, I mean, I told you it's usually for a soul for a lifetime deal. Any of your friends got a nice soul?
I'll step out and I'll say, well, I might have one. Can you test me for a soul? I've never been tested for a soul.
Mix is gonna smack his palm on his forehead, and just be like, "Oh crap!" He's definitely preparing Thunder Step to bounce out of here pretty quick. He's got the area behind Jinku targeted, so he can pop there and just start running.
And so, Honest Bob sees you kind of poking out over here, Boom. And he's like, "Ooh, you're. I don't think I've seen one like you before. Interesting, interesting. Sure, why don't you come on over here and we'll see what we can do."
I'm kind of spicy.
Mix is trying to motion for Boo to stay where he is, but he knows Boo's not gonna listen to him.
No, especially not mix.
So
So
Boo, you mentioned that you're spicy, and Honest Bob kind of laughs a little bit, and he's like, "Spicy? I'm an imp. I'm from hell. What do you think I'm used to?"
But does Honest Bob have a side gig as a comedian?
Maybe he does. Who knows?
I think we're gonna need like a whole backstory on Honest Bob.
How sexy is Honest Bob? So, Boo, do you come over here to the middle bit here between all the
Yeah.
cages? All right. So, Boo, you come over. Mix is still kind of standing here, shaking his head, face palming at you. And Honest Bob kind of hops down off of his chair here. These kind of fleshy creatures that are holding up his chair, or seemingly just kind of there. They seem pretty subservient. They don't really seem to notice as he kind of stomps on one of their heads as he jumps down. Once he comes down to the floor, um, like he's pretty short on his own. I mean, he's shorter than you, Boo. He's not very big. But he kind of hops over to you, um, kind of awkwardly, because as you mentioned earlier, one of his feet got bit, and is a rock. So he kind of hops, kind of awkwardly, flapping a little bit as he kind of comes over, and he's like, all right, let's have a look at you here." And he kind of motions for you to like lean in towards him here.
I'll lean in.
Okay. So Honest Bob reaches out with both of his hands here, and he puts like one hand above your eyes and the other hand below your eyes here, and he kind of like pulls your eyes like wide open, and he gets in like real close to you, like maybe about an inch away from your face, and he's like staring right into your eyes here, and you can kind of feel like a little bit of heat from his breath. You maybe smell a little bit of sulfur off of it, and he's kind of staring into your eyes for a good 10 seconds or so, and eventually he leans back up and kind of claps his hands together, and he's like, "Yeah, looks like you got a soul in there. That'll work.
Okay. So
What
I
do you
can
want to
get some
trade for it?"
nuggets? I want nuggets. I
Oh
want
my
more nuggets.
god. Oh lord.
Nick's just gonna mind link with everybody but Boo and be like, alright, the idiot's about to trade his soul for food. I thought only Jinko was not that smart.
That's what I want to trade my soul for.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess if you want to set up a lifetime supply deal, I can certainly get that put together for you. Yeah. How about you come on back to my office here, and we can get some paperwork taken care of.
Okay.
All right. So, Honest Bob kind of hops back up onto the top of his little gross flesh chair throne, and the creatures that are under him, they kind of start sliding to the south, kind of towards you, Mix, to kind of carry him that direction. Do you move out of the way? We're kind of back out of here.
Oh, Mix is gonna stay behind and just watch this deteriorate. So yeah, he's gonna like move around the cages. He's not gonna lean up against them because he's not stupid enough to get bit and turn to stone.
All right. All right. So Bob gets down to the end of this, kind of little platform here, and kind of starts getting into the little channel that leads to the south. And he kind of looks down at Yubu down there on the ground. He's like, "Hey, you're a tiny little guy. How about you hop up here and I'll give you a ride?" And he kind of reaches one of his hands down to you.
Okay. I'll take
All
a
right.
ride.
Okay. So you grab Bob's hand, and he kind of pulls you upwards here, and you kind of take a step or two on the side of these fleshy blob creatures as you're getting pulled up onto the chair. I mean, Bob's not a very big guy, so he doesn't take up too much of the chair. And you guys start moving your way southwards, kind of down this little channel, back kind of towards where you all had gone before. And I think at this point, with Boo trading his soul for chicken nuggets, this is probably a good spot to call it for tonight.
Well,
Since
because we Boo knows that he's gonna write on the contract who owns his soul, and then he's gonna be like, "Well, who the fuck is this guy?" That's why Boo's doing this. Boo's not an idiot. Boo's the smartest one of all of you guys.
I mean, technically, you
Is
already.
he though?
I mean, that was
Yeah.
already on Gromble's contract.
Yeah, but now I can get it on mine and call him out on his lying bullshit. I'm smart. I've got a 20 intelligence. I'm not wise. I'm not. I'm not wise, and I'm not charismatic. What do you guys want from me here? I'm a freaking drug smoking half lizard person. I'm trying. There's holes in my brain.
Beautiful.
I support your decision.
I'm trying.
Oh, that's great. Well, with that, let's see. Let me see if there's anyone. Let's see. Oh, looks like Rob 2E is doing stuff right now. We'll send over to Rob. Let's see. Rob 2E. Raid. All right. Well, thank you all for coming to this interesting session that we had tonight. We'll see you guys again in 2 weeks for more of this, and we'll send you over to Rob 2E, who's also doing D&D stuff. See yas. Off we go.